things are not getting easier for the Western Mountaineer football team as one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country are coming to town to take on the Mountaineers this weekend as TCU rolls in on homecoming weekend for the Mountaineers in this Coal Rush game coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. My co-host Jonathan and I are here to break this game down, and we're going to do that right now. What is up, and welcome into this episode of the Golden Blue Breakdown Show. It's episode number 48 here on the Couz's Corner channel, brought to you by WVSportsChat.com and our good friends at Appalachia Digital. Jonathan, what's up?
Couz, I always enjoyed talking with you, but if we're being honest, these are getting tougher.
It is getting
tougher. It's, I don't want to hit the doom and gloom button 57 seconds or so, I guess, into the show, but hey, listen, we've always said we're going to call balls and strikes, good, bad, and ugly, and it's getting tougher. But if we are wanting to be a little more positive, Coal Rush coming up, and it's one of my favorite, I guess, event nights, you could call it, because just what it represents for our state. And so really excited, even though it's been a tough stretch. Last week was brutal. It's always fun to get under the lights and to recognize our coal miners, the wonderful miners in the state of West Virginia. So frustrating season, frustrating week last week, but excited to get back at it in the dark this week coming up.
Absolutely. We're going to – I know we normally like to recap the previous week's game, Jonathan. We're not going to do that this week, man.
Thank you.
The UCF game has been talked about enough. There's no reason to rehash it again. So we're just going to go ahead and dive into TCU, man. And then at the end of the show, by the way, we are going to talk a little bit of Mountaineer hoops, hopefully, if we have time.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and dive in and start off. For those of you who are new around here, we start off the show with our three keys to the game. Then we do two position battles to watch. Then we do a key player to watch for West Virginia. And then we end with our score prediction on the game. So let's go ahead and dive into the three keys, Jonathan. What is your first key to the game for a Mountaineer victory?
Yeah, so you say we're not going to recap last week. It's been talked about ad nauseum, and you're right, but it actually plays into my number one key is what's the mental state of this football program. And you know what, actually, Couz, I'd probably stretch that to the mental state of not just the program, but the fans included. And so for me, it is what is the mental state. Look, it's obvious it's not been a good season. West Virginia's 0-4 in the Big 12. It's continued to spiral. It has, in a bad way. This is supposed to be a weekend where you've got a very good TCU team coming into town. Night game, as I spoke about it a second ago, it's Coal Rush. These are the nights, right? Like when you sit down and you start checking off promotions and you start checking off, jersey reveals and you start checking off day games, night games. And man, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a tough one. We should get that one. Mm-hmm. This is the one that you generally circle because of just what it represents. Because, man, I got to be honest with you, as alluded to earlier, it's people in a rough state right now because of how this season has went. And it wasn't just that West Virginia went on the road last week after a bye week and lost a football game. I think you and I would even agree that a lot of people compared the two programs. Mm-hmm. That was ugly. And so
they got worse.
Somehow it got worse.
I mean,
so
there's injuries involved in that. We got to be fair.
There are injuries, and I'm not necessarily trying to compare it myself. I'm just saying that a lot of people I should be more clear. Maybe you and I even spoke last week that if ever there was a game West Virginia could win, not should win, could win, right? Like I even said last week, you weren't going to Manhattan, Kansas, okay? You weren't playing at Kansas State, who has struggled this year, but historically, right? You weren't going to Ames, Iowa to play. Heck, you weren't going on the road to TCU, Okay, you were going to a place you've won football games at in Orlando against a team that is pretty much on the same level as you. They were struggling too because they were 0-3
with a new coach and a new roster.
Right. So, not trying to compare. I'm just saying that was a game where you thought, you know what, darn it, we've got a shot. We both picked them to win,
Yep.
and then what happened. So, I guess I say all that in a long-winded version to say, what's the mental state of the team, the coaches, the entire program, and maybe the entire state of West Virginia that they're going to show up on Saturday night for a Coal Rush game to give this team
if you only have 40,000 people if you only have 40,000 people in the stands, not going to look too good.
It's not. And so I just would wrap that up by saying, to me, my number one key is where's your head at? Where's it at? Are you because this is not, and I've got a feeling we're going to discuss it. I know I am. TCU is a good football team, and this quarterback, Josh Hoover, this is a terrible matchup on paper for West Virginia. And so where is everybody's mental game?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to get right to it. First
key. Maybe I teed you up here. I don't know.
First key to the game.
I tried to calm down right off the bat. But
get pressure on Josh Hoover.
Yeah, there you go.
And you've got to do it without bringing a blitz because he absolutely eats up blitzes. His completion percentage when being blitzed is like 65%, which is about the same as his overall completion percentage. It is actually. Josh Hoover has completed 65% of his passes, already thrown for over 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Zach Cowley said he thinks he's a first-round draft pick. Maybe that was coach speak. Maybe it wasn't. 78.1 pass grade, according to PFF. When he's blitzed, when he's pressured but not blitzed, he's only completing 49% of his throws. Okay? But when he's blitzed, he's at 65% because he gets rid of the ball very quickly, less than 3 seconds. It doesn't matter whether he's blitzed, not blitzed. He gets rid of it in 3 seconds. Doesn't matter if he's throwing it deep, shallow, intermediate. It don't matter. He gets rid of the football very quickly. So he's gonna hit that hot route. He gets through his reads quick and his progression's quick. Very smart quarterback, and he's a veteran. I mean, he's a junior. He's been around a while, right? It's not his first rodeo. Over an 80 PFF grade when throwing the ball past 20 yards. And again, that's right, middle, and left side of the field. Over 80 PFF grade. Now, what's one of the biggest struggles of this West Virginia football team the last few weeks? Pass coverage, right?
Yeah.
Pass coverage grade right now as a team is 62.2 for West Virginia. Against a team who has a passing grade of 77.1 and a receiving grade of 77.2. However, if you can get pressure on him, it will impact him. Like I said, only 49% completion when pressured, which means the defensive line has got to step up and play good in this game like they did against Pitt. They got 6 sacks against Pitt as a team. 2 or 3 of those were by your defensive front. We haven't seen that in 4 weeks. Can they step up? And I think they can because TCU, if they have a few weaknesses, one of their weaknesses, at least according to PFF anyway, is blocking. Their offensive line is their pass blocking grade is only 68.4. So can West Virginia get some pressure on Hoover without having to bring too many blitzes? Can your defensive front 4 get pressure on him? That's going to be key in this football game to me. If you don't, I think you have 0 chance of winning this football game.
Yeah. It's going to be a long evening, and I'm going to break some of that down a little bit later. So I'm glad you kind of touched base on
your thunder.
You didn't, because again, I think this is Hoover is such a dynamic player, and actually, I guess what I would say to that is because I don't know that was coach speak by Zach Alley. I tell you what is impressive to me about Hoover, and you don't see this much, especially in today's landscape of college athletics, specifically college football, is that Hoover is on his 3rd season as a starting quarterback, right, for
Mhm.
TCU. So there's an establishment there. In fact, I think it was last year he set the single season passing record with almost 4,000 yards, 63 touchdowns in his career. So
And he's on pace to do that again.
on pace to do it again. He's going to shatter records at TCU. And probably one of the most interesting stats about him, and I'd have to go back and look at this, but I think he lost like his top 3 or 4 receivers last year to the NFL, and he's doing it all over again this year. So he's been extremely impressive.
Yep. All right. What's your second key?
Yeah, for me is speaking. You talk a little bit about Hoover and that TCU offense, but for me it's the West Virginia offense. We've got to somehow get some resemblance of an offense. It's crazy to me because and listen, I want to preface it by saying I know there's injuries that have played a part here. You've got Ty Edwards, Jahiem White, Jaden Bray. There's been injuries to this offense. Nicco Marchiol, Jaylen Henderson. But did you ever, Coos, think you would see a Rich Rod offense struggle this bad? I mean, I can remember during the portal and offseason, we were like, man, can you imagine this player in this offense? Can you imagine this player in this offense? And here we are. I mean, it's just been a debacle of an offensive season, especially the last couple of weeks. And here's one thing that really stuck out to me. Was doing a little research on West Virginia and this offense. West Virginia is 0-4 in the Big 12 Cougs. They've scored a touchdown on only 8 of their last 53 possessions. That's just under 19% success rate. That is not going to get it done. And when you have to give the ball right back to this TCU offense with the defense that has just been struggling as well, let's just say that. Yeah, I just feel like it's West Virginia has to get something going offensively somehow, some way. Maybe the defense needs to help pick up. Maybe special teams need to give them some field to work with. I don't know what the solution here is. It doesn't look like Khalil Wilkins is going to play, so we're going to be down to Scotty Fox and maybe a handful of others that haven't seen the field. Who knows where that's going to go? But West Virginia has to be efficient on offense, at least if nothing else, stay on the field a little bit longer than they have been.
My second key, by the way, I agree with all that. I mean, offense. I didn't even write it down just because there were so many other things, and I thought, man, I've kind of beaten over the last few days. I've kind of beaten the offense up a little bit, especially the offensive line. So I'm trying to spread the wealth, I guess, so to speak. But I 100% agree with you, man. This offense is just brutal, and I actually think that's caused the defense to struggle. I think it's kind of hand in hand a little bit, but that kind of segues into my second key. And you kind of touched on a little bit with your first one, and that's mindset of the team, because there were some troubling things that I heard in a press conference from Zach Alley and Rich Rod this week. They talked about they saw guys loafing, they saw guys being lazy. Zach Alley said he saw on one play 6 guys did not run to the football. That's over half of your team, man.
Yeah,
out of the 11 guys on the field.
Yeah,
right? And 6 of them don't. Have they already mentally checked out? You know, that's a concern to me. If they've already mentally checked out, you're going to get people hurt. You can't do that in football, man. You have got to be engaged and focused. Can they bow up and have some pride? Have some pride in the name on the front of your jersey, and that's And this might be kind of long, so forgive me, but it kind of goes into the state of college football right now. You go out and have all these hired mercenaries, so to speak, who have only been in your program a few months, and not nothing against them personally, but I mean, it's how do you buy into a culture of a state and a program and a university and a culture when you've only been there a few months, right?
Yeah.
That's why I think his goal to build the team with high school players is the right way to go, because you can't bring in new guys every single year, that many of them every single year, and expect them all to buy in. It's just not. I don't think it's feasible to expect that. It's just not human nature,
Right.
unless you're just elite at that kind of stuff. And, I don't think they are elite at it. They might be very good. I'm not sure anybody's elite at it, right? I mean, like I said, I think it's just subconscious human nature, maybe. But man, these guys, you'd think they'd have some pride in wanting to win, if not even for the state, but for themselves and for their teammates, right? So I'm hoping that the laziness that they saw, the guys not running to the ball, I'm hoping that was an anomaly that only happened in one game.
Yeah.
But it's troubling to me that it happened after a bye week when you've been sitting there stewing on three straight losses. You should be ready to go out and play and hit somebody, man. And try to make a play, not just loaf. I mean, that's troubling to me.
Yeah.
I just can't. And how do you fix that? Can you fix it? That's my concern. So the mindset of the players primarily, with the struggles they're going through in the state of the program and all the negativity that's out there that you and I are part of. Let's not, let's be real. But it's it's what we do. We got to be honest. So much negativity, how's it affecting them? And can they overcome it? That's my second key. I know that was a long-winded answer, but
no, I think it was well said. And I think that, we saw some things last week that we didn't think we were going to see, right? And actually, I think Rodriguez even said it. He saw some things he didn't anticipate, and so, I just, you're back at if you can't get up for this week's game against a good team at home under the lights. I mean, this is kind of quote unquote what you live for. You know what I'm saying? But West Virginia is going to have to start getting some production from some players on the defensive side of the ball. But quite frankly, no matter what the rhyme or the reason is, and I do think there's a correlation here between offensive struggles and defensive struggles. And at first I thought it was just fatigue. But now I'm just kind of wondering if it's just like
frustration.
Yeah.
But you can't let that happen, man. You've got to fight that off.
And I 1,000% agree with you, but I'm just kind of wondering. So, we'll talk predictions later, and I'm certainly not anticipating West Virginia to be the better team on Saturday, but I am expecting a little bit better effort. And I think what you said was well put.
And to be fair, I don't want to make it sound like I'm putting that all on the players. It's part of the and Rich Rod even admitted to this. He said it's on them.
Sure did.
It is their job to get them ready and make sure they're in the right mindset. That is one of the biggest jobs of a coach, and they did not do a good job of that Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
and
maybe that's why you may see more guys play this weekend. You didn't hustle, you're out. Somebody else go in. It's your chance to go show me that you've got heart, you've got hustle. You're going to go after the football, whatever. Right?
Yeah. I agree with you. Well put.
All right. What's your third key?
Third key is, and I kind of thought about maybe putting this in position battles or whatnot, but I think it needs to go. But it kind of plays off of what I just talked about with the offense. Is my third key is we've got to get some changes on the offensive line. We just cannot continue to run out the same group. And whether that's a Donovan Haslam, whether that's a Malik Agbo on the right tackle position, whether it's a Josh Asosa at the guard position, actually a big key to me is you've got to make change because you're going nowhere quick. And, if it is true that one position is just frustrated, is it possible they're frustrated because no changes have been made? It's just the same old. And I think what it would do for you, if nothing else, it was just give you a little bit of a shot in the arm. So for me, one big key thing for us to watch is I think we've got to see some changes along the offensive line because to be respectful about it, it's just not worked. It's just not worked. And one could argue it's getting worse somehow. And so one big key to me is I think you need to see some changes. And I think it starts this week.
Yeah, this is the first time we overlap because that's exactly what my third one was. Play different guys on the O-line. I mean, It's the only, and everybody in West Virginia media is baffled by this.
It's unbelievable
that you change quarterbacks like you quicker than you change underwear or socks or whatever metaphor you want to use. You've changed. I think I read that every player that dressed for defense played last week.
Wow.
I saw that somewhere. You've played all kinds of different people at receivers. You're down to your fifth, sixth. You've played almost every running back in your room at some point.
Yeah.
But yet you play these. You've only played what 7, 8, 9 offensive linemen maybe, but a couple of those guys have only played a handful of snaps. And you continue to run the same starting five out there every week when they are near dead last in the country, some of them in grades. And they continue to make, at least to the naked eye, to my eye, some of the same mistakes over and over again.
Some of them,
something's got to give, man.
Some of them are elementary, Coos. They're elementary mistakes, and that's why so many people in the West Virginia media are baffled by this. And not to interrupt you, but I played a video on social media of Rich Rodriguez after the game saying, well, we're looking at guys. If we feel like the guys behind them were any better, we'd play them. What? I mean, it is mind blowing to me.
Well, and here, at the very least, even if they're not better, man, at this point, John, this season is
toast.
And he's got to know that. He can't say that out loud, but I'd say in the back of his mind he gets that. So just go ahead and start preparing for next year, man.
You have to see what you've got.
Some of the guys, the three guys who have struggled the most are all seniors. They're not coming back next year. What benefit do you have as a football team to keep running them out there?
Yeah.
When the guys all of the guys we talked about are underclassmen. I mean, one's a junior, but they at least have another year of eligibility left. Do you not want them back next year? Do you want to do this again next year with the offensive line, or do you want to keep the guys that you got? Because if you don't let them play, they're not going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And they need the reps. They need the snaps. We could rant about this for 2 hours, man. It's mind-boggling. And if I know I've heard Coach Rod say he leaves it up to his position coaches to make those calls. If your O-line coach is continuing to do that, A, it's on him, and B, it's on you for not overriding him.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we agree. Got to play new people on the O-line.
Oh, we agree. I think everybody agrees.
Yeah. All right. What is your let's go ahead and go to our next is the two position battles, but before we get to that, I do need to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code COUZ. That's code COUZ to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. I was muted there for a minute. I also want to give a shout out to the folks at Appalachia Digital who designed our website. You see the logo behind me of WVSportsChat.com. Appalachia Digital are the folks who designed that website. They did a great job on it. they can do that for you too. If you want to build a website, or if you already have a site you want to level up or get found easier on Google, go check them out at appalachiadigital.com/Coos. Let them know Coos sent you, and they will take care of your website needs as well. Now, Jonathan, let's go ahead and dive in to the two position battles, man. What's your first one?
Yeah, the first one is going to be, and I said earlier, I'd talk about Josh Hoover, and specifically and we need to work on trying our best to slow him down, but specifically that West Virginia defensive line and just kind of the front of that defense, trying to slow him down. You know, you talked about earlier about how good Josh Hoover has been. You know, set the TCU single season passing record last year, almost 4,000 yards, in his career, 63 touchdown passes in 26 career starts, and he's on pace again this year. And I noted this earlier, but I wanted to touch base on it because he lost, I think it was 4 receivers or 3 receivers to the NFL after putting up all those numbers last year. 76 combined starts and over 5,400 career receiving yards from receivers that he lost after last season to the NFL. And yet here he is once again putting these numbers up. That's scary for this defense, right? Especially a struggling West Virginia defense. And you alluded to this, I think, earlier, and I saw this mentioned, I think, from Mike Kazaza. You know the last time, Coos, by chance, West Virginia had a sack? It was a Pitt game.
Yeah.
It was a Pitt game.
Yeah.
And so you talked earlier about how Hoover is really good at against the blitz, his completion percentage near 70%, and he gets rid of that ball quickly, right? But somehow Zach Alley and his staff has to come up with a way to get enough pressure on Hoover, because if you just sit back and you can't put any pressure whatsoever, he's going to absolutely pick you apart. Because I tell you what it reminds me of a little bit. You remember last season when Baylor came to Morgantown? And I think it was Sawyer Robinson was the quarterback there last year for Baylor, and they put up 49, I think it was.
Yeah.
But if you'll remember last year, what'd he do? He picked you apart on a little 2-step drops, right? And those little 4 or 5 yard patterns. And then what happened? I see. This game screams that all over again, except for the fact that I think West Virginia scored like 35 or 39 last year. And I don't think West Virginia has a chance to do that this Saturday. So somehow or another, it's not really just containing Josh Hoover. It's specifically that West Virginia front to get a little bit of pressure, something they haven't done in 4 games.
Yep, I agree. You know, I had somebody comment on. I've done a couple of videos about the offensive line, obviously, and somebody pointed out to me that I've talked about them too much, and I need to talk about the defensive line struggles, which I have. I probably haven't spent as much time on it, but it is fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, the competition has probably gotten better. No offense to Pitt. I don't know why I said that. Who cares if I offend Pitt? But anyway, with all due respect to Pitt, I think it looks like the competition has been a little stiffer, and or maybe they just got up for that game at a different level. I don't know, but whatever it is, they've got to get that back, because if there's any week you need to get it back, it's this one, man, because this guy will absolutely pick you apart, and he may do it anyway, even with pressure. But you've got to at least try to make life hard for him. Don't make it easy. I will say this: only silver lining I see, or hope I see, I guess, in the interview with my Know the Opponent show that I do every week, I was interviewing Clint Foster from the Big 12 over at the Voice of College Football, and he was talking about how Josh Hoover has struggled a little bit more this year in away games. He hasn't played as well on the road. Maybe that's something that, maybe that Mountaineer night magic or Mountaineer field night magics, sneaks up and bites him a little bit. I don't know. We've seen that happen before to other teams. Maybe he struggled. Maybe this is a game he struggles in. Throws us a couple picks, but now the offense has to do something with it. But I do agree that the defensive line definitely needs to step up, and that is an important battle to watch. My first one is the West Virginia defensive backs against you mentioned the TCU receivers. Well, what they do when they lost all those guys in the NFL? Well, they went out to the portal and got some dogs. They got a guy named Eric McAllister. What?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a feeling you're going to talk about that. Eric McAllister, 77.2 receiving, or actually they have a 77.2 receiving grade as a team.
Yeah.
But they have one guy named Eric McAllister who has caught 28 balls for 603 yards, 7 touchdowns, and is averaging 21.5 yards per reception.
Yep.
And he's not even leading the team in receptions. There's
Yeah.
another guy that leads the team in actual total receptions with 32.
Yeah.
His name has escaped me, but I'm pulling it up. Dwyer. Jordan Dwyer has 32 catches for 468 yards and 3 touchdowns. I remember a guy named Joseph Manjack. He used to play at Houston.
He's close to McAllister. Yeah.
He's on the roster too. So yes, they lost a bunch of dudes, but they went out and got some dudes to replace those dudes to pair with that stud quarterback.
Yeah.
So if you're the West Virginia secondary, who right now has a coverage grade of 62.2 on the year, you better cover better than that in this game, or it will be they might put up 70 if you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously I had him listed. Here's the funny thing, because when I usually like to kind of intertwine a little bit from one side and a little bit West Virginia, right? And we've talked about that at length and ad nauseum about West Virginia. So actually, and I guess I'll just kind of slide this into my second one is, quite honestly, it's exactly what you said. Eric McAllister to replace 76 combined starts and over 5,400 career receiving yards with this group of receivers. It's if you want to know the truth about it, it's a tip of the cap to Sonny Dykes and his staff and the program that they've got there. But I'd mention this one little stat I saw about Eric McAllister, though, Coos, and I thought it was, when I read it, it really jumped out at me. Just the third FBS player in the last 30 years to have at least 500 receiving yards, 7 touchdown catches, and 25 yards per receptions through the first 6 games of the season. Just the third player in the last 30 years. Just in case you're curious, I looked it up. Washington State's Jason Hill in 2004. And then you got to go all the way back to Des White of Georgia Tech in 1998. That's getting it done, Coos. And
I was in high school.
Yeah. Well, I was 6. I was just got my driver's license. So if you're only the third player in FBS history over the last 30 years, I should say, and you've got to go back to 2004 and then 98, you're a pretty good dog. And so somehow or another, if trying to contain Josh Hoover isn't enough, you've got to try and contain Eric McAllister. So that was my second, because it kind of piggybacked off of what you said.
Well, I hate to pile on here, but think about this, Jonathan. West Virginia has played Bear Bachmeier, who's a good quarterback. Do not get me wrong, but he's a true freshman.
Yeah.
He looked like Joe Montana. You played Taven Jackson from UCF, who's coming off an injury. Made him look like John Elway.
Yeah.
Kansas's quarterback looked like, I don't know, pick one, right? This guy's better than all of those guys, and maybe the best quarterback they play all year. What's he going to do to that secondary? I mean, I shudder to even think about it.
Yeah.
He might put up Geno Smith type numbers against Baylor in 2012. Remember that game?
Yeah. How could I forget? Yeah.
All right. I don't want to pile on to. It's just hard. I hate to be so negative, Jonathan, but that's just where we are, man.
Well, because we said early in the show, this was a terrible matchup for West Virginia, and I think now you're starting to kind of see why we said that.
Well, last week I thought was a good matchup, and you saw what happened. But anyway, my second one is the West Virginia running backs, which I guess will be Sincere Bowers and Dior Hubbard, I'm assuming, against the TCU linebackers. And the reason I say that, it's really the whole defense. I just pick linebackers because it's, the obvious. But West Virginia, if they don't figure out a way to have more success running the football outside of just their quarterback, which the one that's been doing that well is out now, so it could really get ugly. If you don't figure out a way, I know they've struggled to pass the ball down the field. I get all that. But if you can't run the ball, you're not going to be able to do that either. I mean, because right now they're just going to play man out on the outside and stack the box. So you've got to be able to figure out a way to run the football with the loaded box, which ain't easy, especially when your offensive line's struggling. But you've got to, because if you don't, you're never going to get chances to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
And so Dior Hubbard, Sincere Bowers, have got to figure out a way to make people, they're getting hit a ton at or behind the line of scrimmage. They've got to figure out a way to make those guys miss or break through those tackles and they've got to do something to help this offense and this offensive line out as well. And TCU, their tackling grade on the year is 89, man. That's pretty elite right there. 89 tackling grade.
Yeah.
So can West Virginia's running backs break some tackles against a very, very great tackling defense of TCU? If not, man, I mean, it's another area that's just not a good matchup, right? You've got two young running backs with very little experience going up against a team who has an 89 tackling grade. And your offensive line has a run block grade of 48. I mean, holy crap, man. And, by the way, in TCU's run defense grade, you want to know what that is?
Afraid to ask.
You're going to start drinking. 92.7. Hope you got something hard in that bottle.
No, but I wish I did. It's been a long show. I mean, my question is, can they change? I mean, what's the spark plug? Outside of just trying to get a shot in the arm by making a change at the offensive line. Listen, you are what you are. And some of it, Kuz, is just pure bad luck. Okay, Jahiem White done, Ty Edwards done, Nicco Marchiol done, Jaylen Henderson done. Like I don't know that anybody thought that Khalil Wilkins and Scotty Fox were the answer this year, and that was before you kicked off game one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that anybody thought that, with all due respect to these players, that anybody thought Sincere Bowers was running back one, or that Dior Hubbard was running back 1-2, or that Clay Ash was going to carry the load, right? Nobody thought that. And so when you take that bad luck with the offensive line not working out the way you hoped it would work out, because that is a terrible combination. And so I don't know that you can change. I don't know at this point in the season it can change. So I don't disagree with you at all in what you said. I just don't know that there's an opportunity there to change unless you just throw caution to the wind and make the changes along the offensive line and hope it just ignites some sort of spark. You ever been to a game, Coos, whenever the quarterback gets replaced because they're struggling and the backup quarterback runs in and the crowd just goes wild?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if new offensive linemen ran out on the field Saturday night. 40 to 50,000 people are going to stand up and cheer a change in offensive line. Coos, that is so wrong of me to say, but listen, we have to be honest here. Continuing to run out the same group of people, because our eyes don't lie. Whether it's watching
not
it
week in, week out, and especially when it's everybody seeing it, not just us.
It is. And how many times are we going to run? We could put Pat White back there in the backfield, because if they're in his face within a second, there's nothing Pat White's going to do. We could bring Steve Slayton out. We could put Devine back there. It doesn't matter at some point. You have to give these guys an opportunity.
Yeah. And you know what's happening, Jonathan, I think, too? Because West Virginia's pass blocking has not been all that bad. It's not been great by any stretch. But even when they hold up a little bit, the quarterbacks are so skittish from getting hit so much and getting so much pressure, they're bailing too quick.
Too quick, panicking.
Because it's in their head, especially when you got a freshman out there.
Yeah.
It's notice how everything we talk about always circles back to that.
Yeah.
You can't run, you can't pass, you can't block, you're done. You can't do anything. So anyway, it's just
I know.
It's just a bad deal, man. It's a bad deal. Let's go ahead and jump to the next topic, which is one key West Virginia player. Who you got? I got a feeling we're going to have the same one. But
probably if we do, this one will be probably that'll probably be the most surprising we shared pick.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why, Coos. I searched long and hard to find somebody here. I
didn't. So that tells me that we don't have the same person.
Well, and I'll tell you why. Our previous segment, I wanted so bad to mention somebody from West Virginia, but I just couldn't find it. And I just didn't really know where to go. But because I think West Virginia will make a change along the offensive line this week, for the first time all season, we got a little bit of hints about it a couple times throughout the week. I don't necessarily think it will be a monstrous game in terms of 15 to 20 carries, but I think there will be that one play where it just happens. I'm actually going to go with Sincere Bowers.
Okay. I like it.
For the first time all season, and I'm not going to harp on it continuously again, but we do believe that we might see some changes. You even kind of talked to me about it on social media this week about how Rich Rod has finally kind of opened up a little bit about we might see it. And even though the depth chart that was released didn't portray any changes, I think we actually might see some this week. And because of that, I think Sincere Bowers has an opportunity. Because this TCU defense can give up. If you can get some lanes, you can actually run on this team. And so, again, I don't know it'll be a 12, 15, 18 carry performance, but I think Sincere Bowers will break loose for a 40, 50, 60-yard run in this game, or at least maybe have the opportunity because of some changes.
I like it. Mine was probably a little more obvious, and I just went. I mean, you got one scholarship quarterback left, right? It's a pretty key player. So I just went with Scotty Fox. I mean, that young man has been thrown to the wolves, probably before he's ready.
Oh yeah,
he's going to the school of hard knocks, literally. So,
yeah.
What can he do with it? Can he bounce back this week after struggling last week? Can he look more like the Scotty Fox we saw, with the handful of snaps he got against BYU? Or will he look more like the Scotty Fox from last week, right? And can he throw the football? Now, I haven't talked about this much, and you haven't either, really. But TCU, if they are a little vulnerable, at least according to to Clint when I interviewed him in the pass game. Their cornerback position is not necessarily their strength of their team. Now they have a really high pass coverage grade, but they don't have a high pass rush grade. Their pass rush grade is actually worse than West Virginia's at 63.2. So it's possible, if they make the changes on the O-line that we've both talked about, and if those changes work, it's possible Scotty Fox might actually have some time to throw the football in this game.
Yeah.
And from everything we've heard, he might have the most arm talent of any quarterback on the roster.
Yeah.
Can he take advantage of that? Can he complete a couple passes early, gain some confidence? And then all of a sudden, do you see the Scotty Fox Cam Vaughn connection a few times, right?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, this West Virginia offense looks different if that happens, right? They get into their tempo. They get first downs. All of a sudden, they have to lighten the box up a little bit. Then maybe, boom, you talked about Bowers. Then, boom, maybe he breaks a run or two. Then all of a sudden, you're like, okay, we've got something going here. So if Scotty Fox, and obviously he's, can he make a few plays in the run game as well? I don't think this TCU defense is great at rushing the quarterback. So I think if your O-line can hold up just enough to give Fox a little bit of time and he doesn't bail too early, and Coach Rod runs some plays that make sense for him and maybe even cut the field in half for him, whatever you got to do, and he can complete a few early passes, even if they're screen passes or whatever. Build confidence, boom, roll with it. And so I think Scotty Fox is obviously, it's Captain Obvious answer because the quarterback's always key. But especially in this game because if he gets hurt, no offense, but you're down to your walk-ons. And I think I told you this before the show. I would, you know what I would like to see? Throw Cam Vaughn in the quarterback a few times. Run the Wildcat and let him, if he can do it, even, have him throw it, have him run it a couple times and then boom, let him throw one. What do you got to lose, man?
Yeah.
And you're getting the ball in Cam Vaughn's hands, which you haven't been able to do much this year. See if he can do something with it. I actually would like to see him do something like that in this game.
I don't hate the idea because the realistic truth is, with all due respect to Scott Keene and Max Anderson, how efficient are they going to be and effective are they going to be to get Cam Vaughn the football if that were to happen to come to light? But it's funny that you and I didn't have necessarily the same player. We were kind of thinking a little bit different, but it all does tie in, right? If there are some changes and you get a little bit of a spark, and hey, listen, here's the crazy thing, Coos. It's a small sample size, but when some of these guys were able to play earlier in the season in some mop-up duty, actually didn't look bad. And so, I talk about offensive linemen. And so, I think that could be the shot in the arm to maybe turn it around.
Yep, I like it. I actually talked myself into maybe West Virginia could actually do something in this game, Jonathan.
Well, one of us we might look good. We might play this one back. Or we might look terrible. Who knows?
I hope we do look bad because I got a feeling on where we're going to go with this next segment. Score prediction. I hope we're proven wrong.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Because I tried. I tried last week to find a reason why West Virginia would win that football game, and boy, did I swing and miss. No reason for me to really just kind of drag this one out. I just don't see it. I think I think West Virginia. Let me say this. First off, I'll get it out of the way. I think TCU wins a football game. I'm going to say 38-10. As crazy as it sounds, I think West Virginia would be fortunate to hold TCU to 38 points. But I think that they could have a little bit of momentum early in the game just because it is a night game. It is in Morgantown, and you're probably going to get the very best of West Virginia's defense early, I would think. So I could see TCU, I don't want to say struggling a little bit, but maybe moving the football, but not quite putting points on the board early. Because when I look at this football team of West Virginia, and we talked about reasons why Sincere Bowers or Scotty Fox or getting Cam Vaughn the football, and that's fine. And what we said wasn't necessarily wrong. But I don't necessarily think I see this offense and who's healthy and who's available being able to go out and score enough points to win the football game. I don't see it. I don't know that I necessarily see enough to barely break double digits, as painful as that is to say. But because I think West Virginia will kick a field goal at some point, which that's a whole nother debate. I'm almost kind of just to the point now to where I just say screw that and go for it. But I'm going to go TCU 38, West Virginia 10.
I have West Virginia losing as well. No surprise. 42-17. And I actually thought about going higher than that, but it is at home. 17 actually ends up being – I didn't do it on purpose, but after thinking through this, I did a video earlier in the week. West Virginia actually is averaging 17 a game against FBS opponents. So that's right at their average, 17. The 42 is I haven't looked at what the defense has given up. It's probably pretty close to that in FBS games. So I don't see anything different. Maybe, like you said, maybe it's closer early on because of the home environment, but I just don't think West Virginia they're just not healthy enough. They don't have the depth to hang with TCU. So it's a 42-17 football game. On a coal rush, it'll be the second year in a row that West Virginia gets blown out in a coal rush game, unfortunately.
It's a sad way to end the show, but I mean,
segment.
We're
going to talk about something positive now. We got to.
Yeah, I just don't see West Virginia pulling it out. So we're pretty close on our predictions.
Yep. All right. While West Virginia, or at least on the same day that they had that performance against UCF, the basketball team played a secret scrimmage that everybody knows about against Maryland.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to some folks who were able to see it, you look pretty darn good. And I'm going to reference a writer by the name of Jonathan K. Martin from a site called WV Sports Chat. I don't know if you know him or not.
I think I know that guy.
But anyway, he put a great article up on the site. But it says the West Virginia men's basketball team has sent an early signal of resurgence under first-year head coach Ross Hodge, crushing the Maryland Terrapins 95-73 in a closed-the-doors preseason scrimmage at the WVU Coliseum. Now, Maryland was a little shorthanded. From what I've heard, I think one of their top players was out, if I'm not mistaken. So, and it is a scrimmage, so I don't know what we take away from it.
Yeah.
But some exciting things. I mean, they put up 95 points against a Big Ten team, against a guy who used to danced on our logo at one time.
That's right.
We're all still mad about that.
That's right.
Honor Huff put up 32 points. 30 of those were threes. 10 of 18 from three. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Trayson Eaglestaff chipped in 22. Jasper Floyd had 11 points and 9 assists.
Yeah.
And you went on to say the trio's chemistry and offensive firepower highlights Hodge's new system, which appears to emphasize perimeter play and ball movement. They will face Wheeling in an exhibition on Sunday, October 26th at 4:00 p.m. What are your initial thoughts on that? Do you take anything away from that? Do you think it's meaningless? What are your thoughts?
I tell you what, my biggest takeaway is just the excitement level that it gives you, right? I mean, we've talked about before how Ross Hodge has generated, as you would imagine, he's probably the most loved coach to never coach a basketball game yet. I mean, it seems like everybody's buying in. And honestly, if you go all the way back to the national media when he was hired, everybody said, that's it. That's the hire. That's it. And so it seems to be a home run hire. We can joke about how it makes us feel good. I think whether you just played a little pickup ball out in the driveway, if you win, you feel good, right? But it's sorely needed. I think what it did to me is it highlighted, and I don't know that I take much from just these scrimmages because, again, you kind of wonder who all's there, who all's available, how much did Maryland play their players, and so forth and so on. But what it did give me was a little bit of sense of what we're going to see out of certain guys, right? In the sense of it appears that Honor Huff has the green light from whenever and wherever he wants it. Trayson Eaglestaff to have 22 points stretches the floor even more. And it's not surprising to me at all. In fact, if we could, I would say rewind the tape and we could just play the tape. How many times have I said Jasper Floyd, keep an eye on him because he's a floor leader?
I was high on him as well.
He's a coach on the floor. And let me tell you something. When a head coach takes a new job and one of his first moves is to bring his point guard, that's a feel good. That's what I call a feel good because he knows the system. He's going to get guys in position. So it's not surprising that he had 11 points and 9 assists. Not surprising to me or you whatsoever. I think we'll know more as we see West Virginia play Wheeling in another exhibition, not because it's anybody, world beater or whatever, but it's actually going to be nice to see it with our own eyes before the season kicks off. So, yeah, a little bit of excitement there. Anytime you can have somebody score in the 30s and 20s, especially electric guards, it's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, what I'm excited to, maybe more so than I even was last year. And a lot of that, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of it is just because the football team's struggling so much. We're just thirsty for something positive, right? And this gets us excited. What we've got to guard against getting our expectations too high, a lot of us did with Rich Rod. Not necessarily you and I, but just the fan base in general.
Yeah.
Because it is a new roster, and it is the Big 12 Conference, which is friggin' tough. Right? You've got 3 or 4 teams in this league that might be able to win a national championship, right? So, I mean, you got the two top recruits in the country are both in the Big 12. I don't know if
Wow.
I actually just realized that a few days ago. But one's at BYU, one's at
Yep.
Kansas.
Yep.
But point being, just a tough league, man, and you got a whole new roster, new staff. So we need to be cautiously optimistic, in my opinion. But I am excited. West Virginia was ranked 11th in the preseason poll, media poll. I actually think Jonathan, I actually think they might finish higher than that. I'm not saying they're going to win the league or anything, but I actually think this West Virginia. I just really, when I watch interviews, I see how highly they speak about Coach Hodge, especially the two guys who came with him. I mean, they asked Brennan Lawrence, he's like, I don't want to play. Who else? This guy gave me a chance. I'm going to be
Yeah.
loyal to him for the rest of my life. I mean, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff people used to say about Bob Huggins. You know what I mean? You can tell his players absolutely love the guy. You know,
A little bit different from last year, right?
he's tough on he's tough on them, but yet he loves them. You know what I mean? It's that tough love type approach.
Yeah.
And Jasper Floyd's talked about it as well. You know, back to Jasper Floyd a little bit, Jonathan. When I watched his highlights, you know, he didn't do anything flashy.
Mm-mm.
But when you watch him, the way he plays in a pick and roll game, man, is impressive. Like, you can tell that's where he's comfortable. He loves, and that's exactly what Ross Hodge likes to do. His ability to throw the ball to the roll guy, um, his ability to throw the ball down low. I mean, just I love the way he handles the ball at the top, and he's not a terrible shooter either. I think he shot over 30% last year, but he doesn't look to shoot first. He's not a shoot first guy. He's a defense first and pass first point guard who can score it if you need him to. And you put him with Honor Huff and with Trace and Eaglestaff, and then you've got the big 7-footer down low. I really like that group and those puzzle pieces fitting together, man. I think I really like how Ross Hodge, he didn't just go out and get the best players. He went out and got guys who fit each role specifically and what he wants to do. And I like it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Then there's a couple glue guys in there, Jackson Fields you could throw in. And how about the flashiness of young Amir Jenkins? So there's a lot to like here. You know, if anything I learned last year, two things. Number one, and you spoke on it just for a second, is that you can't be careful buying in. I don't want to take and I hate to say that because I don't want to take away from your excitement, my excitement, anybody's excitement. Lord knows we need it, but just be careful. And that tailors into my next point is it's a long season.
Yep.
Listen, if you go back to Thanksgiving, Christmas last year, everybody thought,
oh yeah,
this team could be a 3-4 seed. I mean, it just, man, it was climbing. You know, you went to a tournament and won some big games, and you're thinking, oh, okay. And it was all good until it wasn't. And so basketball is a long season. So temper the expectations, but be excited. And it's a long season. And so I'm excited about Jasper Floyd and Brennan Lorient because anytime a coach can bring two guys, and again, especially since one's a point guard, I feel comfortable that one, the coach trusts them, and number two, those are some guys that can help lead the team because they know the expectation. And by all accounts, everything that we've seen, kind of quote unquote behind the scenes, these guys appear to be bought in, and they're going to play hard. And that's one thing we know about Ross Hodge is he's going to demand you play hard. And so, really, really excited to get this basketball season going and to see what these guys can do.
Yep, me too. I'm actually hoping to get up to a couple games this year.
Yeah, I'd love it.
I wasn't able to make one last year, so I'm hoping to get up to one. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I like I know so there were some fans who were not excited about the Ross Hodge hire because it wasn't splashy or. But I actually liked it, man. I really once I dug into who he is and what he's about and his approach and all that, I was like, man, I think this guy's a great fit. I think he's a better fit than DeVries was actually. Maybe and I know I'm saying that in hindsight, but still, I really, I just think he's a good fit, and I know he and Ren already know each other a little bit. I think that helps.
And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here because there's a long way to go, but Ross Hodge appears to be quite the recruiter as well of what's coming in following. So,
and we got ourselves an assistant coach who can flat out recruit now with that Yusuf Ali.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Man, he
Yeah.
is. They got a 5-star coming to campus next week or this weekend.
Yeah.
Is it this weekend?
This week.
I think so.
Yeah.
He because of his relationship with Ali, who apparently coached him in Canada. So I love what they're building, man. I'm
Yep.
actually getting excited. I'm not following my own advice.
Yeah, we talked about this 30 seconds ago, Coos.
Man, it's hard, man. It's hard. I need that in my life, man.
I know, but it's going to be a fun season all the way around for men's and women's basketball, and maybe it's a little bit because we're just kind of frustrated right now. But I don't want to. But I don't want to. I don't know that that's fair to the basketball team to say the only reason we're excited is because we're upset and
That's
frustrated.
true.
Because there is a lot to like that's going on here.
Yeah, they've earned that to a degree. Yeah,
correct. Yeah. So, really excited to watch that exhibition again because that is going to be televised on ESPN Plus, and so everybody can have the opportunity to see for yourself. And the following week, it counts. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah. And speaking of women's basketball, they also defeated Virginia Tech in a close scrimmage by a pretty hefty score. I don't remember the score, but
Yeah,
if I'm Virginia Tech is a pretty good women's basketball program, so
typically pretty good.
That's a big win in my opinion.
Yeah. It should be a really, really fun season.
Yep.
Really fun season for both programs. And I know you and I talk about this kind of off air and privately sometimes. I think basketball season is a little bit tougher for you. Maybe you're more of the football kind of guy, but I love basketball season. I love the fact that they could play on a Saturday and then you only sometimes maybe wait another day or two and you have another game. And I also think that if you do have a loss and it's frustrating, you don't have to wait a week to play again and try and fix those. And so I love basketball season. In a weird way, it's kind of like I'm excited that DeVries is gone because you get that newness again.
The newness is fun.
It is fun, and I think I agree with what you said, and I'm not saying it necessarily in hindsight, but I just feel like that Ross Hodge gets it, man.
Yep.
I just feel like
Absolutely.
and I would even say not coaching aside, I would even just say his demeanor, his availability, his attitude, it just seems to get it, and so it's going to be a fun season all the way around.
Yep, absolutely. If you're listening to this on podcast platforms, sometimes I forget to mention that. Please leave us a 5-star review. Please follow us as well, Kuz's Corner on your favorite podcast platform, whether Apple, Spotify, whatever. Please subscribe here on YouTube. The channel's inching closer. I think I'm like 50 away from 10,000 the last time I checked.
That's right.
Another shout out to the sponsors, DraftKings Sportsbook and Appalachia Digital. Again, go check out the site, wvsportschat.com, where you get written content on the Mountaineers. Follow Jonathan on X at Jonathan K. Martin. No H in the front. Follow me at Kuz Walker. New account. The other one got hacked. It's dead. DOA. And follow this show at WV Sports Chat over on X as well. This has been another edition of the Golden Blue Breakdown Show. We thank you for tuning in. Hope the rest of your day's top shelf and Q Country Roads.